Generally in the Pacific, we see a lot of climate financing coming into the region. I should say though that most of it is very project-based, looking at tangible climate change initiatives. I think what we're not seeing though is how we can address the root causes of exposure to climate change and resulting vulnerability. And what we're finding increasingly is that's coming from development itself. Development really needs to be risk-informed to the threats of climate change, disasters, and the gender and social inclusion dimensions to be able to get to the heart of the problem.
In the Philippines, climate finance is important but also limited. And one of the approaches right now is doing direct access modality of disbursement and actually even project design. Since we have more than 7,000 islands, the centralized and democratized approach is actually expected to work better.
When you think about where climate budgeting and climate finance goes, it's going towards interventions and investments which are designed to build resilience, to build adaptive capacity to climate change. And the people in those particular groups, whether they are women or indigenous people, people from lower socioeconomic groups, people from lower castes, those are the people who are feeling those effects of climate change first and most acutely.
Linking gender equality and climate change financing is a very important issue, not only because women are affected when natural disasters strike, but because they're also powerful agents of change when it comes to the mitigation and adaptation efforts.
Concept, the idea and the aspect of climate change have not been very much aware in the whole Thai society. There had been many things that done at the macro level within the government structure, but it is not yet if we look at the ground level, at the community level.
It's very good that the systems are being developed for climate finance to help the people who really need that kind of help. But we need also to, in parallel, develop monitoring mechanisms to see whether they are really reaching out to the marginalized communities like women, like the disabled, like the old and the infirm. And this is where we need to sit, the policy makers need to sit down and bring both of these things together.
The problem disability are not yet well included into the policy level, especially in climate change or DRR and other policies. So that's why, like disability, they keep as a vulnerable group, and they are still not thinking about disability is a cross-cutting issue like gender. That's why we feel like include disability into the policy is the key important, because we try to encourage or promote the political willing or a policy maker to start thinking disability is a cross-cutting issue.
Whereas the domestic budgets are the foundation of a climate response, international climate finance can play a vital role. In order to secure these international avenues of climate finance, countries need to have a well-considered, effective and transparent budget.
Many governments throughout the Asia and the Pacific have been mainstreaming both or attempting to mainstream climate and gender in their budget systems, and with a lot of innovation and a lot of roadblocks along the way. And so one of the things that we would encourage is to bring these two things together. That if you're trying to do them separately, that you're missing a lot of opportunities on the one hand to maximize the leverage, maximize the investments that the public sector is making.